AITAH for forcing the sale of a home my maniac mother and I own 50-50 because of how she treated my girlfriend and kid? Posted by you/Litany Spears 12. This is an extremely long and complicated story, but I hope you guys stay with me as I try to navigate this as best as I can with timelines and details. Apologies for my English in advance as well. Here we go. My mother has been abusive, impulsive, and controlling for as long as I can remember. Every relationship she's ever had has been demolished to bits because of her behavior towards others, including colleagues, siblings, my dad, her ex-husband, friends, and the list goes on. So, 3 years ago, I got a job opportunity in a different country, one where we have a lot of family, which has been awesome, and I decided to take it because I was excited for the opportunity to be closer to them and experience life living on a different continent. While I was settling into my new life, my mother, who is retired, visited shortly after and insisted that she would buy a home near my apartment and move to said country, even though that's not possible due to immigration laws. You need a long-term visa, not a tourist visa, for an extended stay. Her ego didn't allow for a no answer, so she bought a beautiful beachfront property anyway in hopes of gaining citizenship, which is fine legally, but you're only allowed to stay up to 90 days, and potentially 180 if you extend. She couldn't believe what the case officer and the lawyer she hired were saying, and she started berating them, claiming how much money she would donate to society with her housing purchases and so on. When reality set in after a few failed meetings, we decided it was best if I lived in the property to maintain it, pay the bills, and let her visit whenever she wanted without worrying about it being vacant. Fast forward some time, I meet my girlfriend, we become serious, and she moves in after a while. My mother is happy about how things are going for me in all aspects of life. She FaceTimes with us regularly and really takes a liking to her. After some time, my girlfriend becomes pregnant, and we announce the news to my mother. She's extremely happy and gifts me 50% of the home she purchased as a present to us, which is the nicest and most generous thing anyone has ever done for me. Something I never saw coming. Last summer, she visited and planned to stay with us for 6 months to help us out before and after the baby was born, which was very kind. But this is where the story takes a turn for the worse. A week or two into her visit last summer, while my girlfriend was 6 to 7 months pregnant, she went absolutely nuclear on me in front of my girlfriend because I asked her a simple question, privately over text earlier in the day, about not announcing our families, more specifically her financial situation to the entire world. She likes to brag to people about how much she makes without working, the values of her homes, etc. That type of stuff makes me uncomfortable because I've always been a private person, and I don't want people getting the wrong impression of me or her, if that makes any sense. And for some random context, she is the most paranoid person on the planet when she's not in a showing-off mood. She constantly thinks her phone is being hacked or traced and is always reporting random things to the FBI because she fears people are trying to get her money. She only uses the phone when she's in her room on her Wi-Fi, otherwise, it's off essentially 21 hours a day. She's even reported some of her friends to the police or FBI because she accused them of stealing money from her bank accounts or attempting to. And for the record, my mother, father, and I never had money growing up. My father always worked an honest job, and so did I when I finished college 10 years ago. She recently came into wealth after a gigantic inheritance from a wealthy family friend who passed away 5 years ago. She essentially manipulated and swindled her way into marriage with him to collect all his assets, retirement accounts, homes, and everything he accumulated before he passed away in 2020. During our fight last summer, she kept saying how she is kicking us out, we need to get our own place, we're making her sick, and she could end up in the hospital from all the stress we are causing her, when we are literally at work all day before coming home and leaving at times like any regular person would do. My girlfriend became frightened of her for good reason because my mother was basically screaming for 2 days straight. She then suddenly books a flight back to her country and leaves a note and says to look for a new home and new car to buy, but we have to leave the property by a said date. After a week or two, she reaches out and asks that I send her listings and cars, which I didn't, because she's just using that as a ploy to be on good terms. So instead, I am focusing on my career and the health of my girlfriend because it was getting tough the last couple of weeks before birth. Fast forward to 3 months after my kid is born, she comes back to help out during the holidays and plans to stay for 6 months again. We were iffy on the entire thing based on what happened 6 months prior, but I was trying to persuade my girlfriend that maybe with her grandchild here, she won't cause issues for anyone because it's a special time for all of us. The first 4 weeks are good, but not great, but we are not expecting much with her around. Like I said before, she is overly controlling, constantly overstepping boundaries, and the worst part is constantly trying to teach us how to parent instead of letting us come into our roles. The part that broke my communication with her and others who know her is what I'm about to tell you next. For the holidays, we visit my girlfriend's family 2 hours away for a week. My mother has met her parents before, but during this trip she just turned into a completely different person. She hardly spoke to them when she was being hosted by them and would blatantly ignore her other family members who tried to interact with her during Christmas. She kept trying to take our baby out of people's hands, and she wouldn't participate in anything we were doing: dinner, games, trivia, gift opening, etc. She eventually left Christmas early and went back to my girlfriend's parents' house without telling anyone, so I had to cover for her and tell everyone she was feeling sick. The next morning, she is calling me at 4 a.m., screaming on the phone about how she hates my girlfriend and her family, and she wants to leave ASAP. I can't even get a word in before she demands to be picked up. I drive to pick her up, and she's standing outside with her luggage in the dark, demanding to take the train back home. So I tell her there are no trains this early, and if she really wants to do that, then she has to wait at the home we are staying in. I bring her home, and my girlfriend casually says, "Hi. What's going on?" while holding our infant daughter, and my mother snapped, lunged, and screamed profanities about how she will never see the inside of our home again, me, or our family. My girlfriend, clearly confused and shaken, is wondering what's going on as I stepped between them and pushed my mother and her stuff into the car before going off on her about how she will never threaten my girlfriend, especially while she's holding our daughter. I dropped her at the train station and left to get back to my girlfriend because she was clearly shaken, as was I. After a few days and threatening texts from my mother, she is saying how she's changed the locks and we will never go inside of the home again. She is demanding we collect our personal belongings, which is like 95% of what's in the home. So my friends and I go over to pack, and she's in our home with some neighbors, people I know she's hardly spoken to, for reasons I still don't understand. As I'm leaving, I blast her for what she did to make sure the neighbors know what type of person she is, a psycho who will go to extreme lengths with zero regard for anyone but herself. My family and I were lucky enough to have shelter for 2 weeks until we could finally secure the one apartment that was available during the holiday season. 2.5 months have gone by. She traveled back to the States in early January, and 2 neighbors have been going into my home to collect mine and my girlfriend's mail because neither of them will give me the new keys to my own effing house. They fear my mother overdoing what's morally and legally right for my family and me. It's honestly been hell the last 3 to 4 months with the stress from that, working full-time, trying to keep my girlfriend's spirits high, and keeping some structure and routine for our child as we are living in a cramped, tiny apartment because we had no other options during the obviously slow holiday season. I've consulted a lawyer, and we are doing a forced sale through the courts, which she doesn't know about yet, and I'm getting a locksmith to change the locks so I have keys and rightful access to my own home again. I don't give a crap if she shows up here and can't get into the home because the locks are changed. Am I the jerk for forcing a sale on the home to cut ties permanently? Top/relevant comments. Commenter. My question is, do you have anything written out or anything legal, a form, anything that says your mother gave you 50% of the house? Ops response. Yes. It's an updated home document, I don't know the name in English, but that highlights ownership and percentages. Commenter 2. Not the jerk in the least. You own 50% of the home. I'm not sure what the laws are where you are, but she shouldn't have legally been able to change the locks or keep you out. Force the sale and cut off the toxic parent. She's too big a risk of harm to you, your partner, and your child. Her screaming like that can have an impact on all of you, especially with your little one being so small. Ops response. I 1000% agree with you. I suffered a lot of those tantrums, same with my siblings and other family members, growing up, and I don't want my girlfriend, my kid, or her family to ever have to endure that. Commenter 3. It sounds like your mother has serious mental issues. She reminds me of my son's girlfriend, mother of 2 of my grandchildren, who she ditched when they were 3 and 5 and fled the state, having stolen jewelry, artwork, furniture, and collectibles. She would create a situation of utter chaos, making the whole family miserable, because then she felt like she was in control. We lived with her for 10 years, and the last 5 were complete and utter hell. You are doing absolutely the right thing by forcing the sale of this property. You're completely within your legal rights, and you're doing what's necessary. When you get settled in your new place, make sure your mother doesn't know where it is. Any meetings in the future must be in a neutral place. And don't inflict her on your extended family. She is not their burden to carry. Once this sale and relocation are complete, you'll be able to have peace and take care of your family the way you need to. A restart, if you will. Good luck and best wishes. Please give your little girl and her mom a big hug and a kiss from all of us here at Reddit. Ops response. Yes, unfortunately, I've been hearing that a lot recently, from family members, my lawyer, and other people I've spoken to about the situation or who have known her for some time. And wow, that sounds exactly like what I went through. It's always normal, utter chaos, and then her just fleeing. And yes, I agree with you on a fresh start once the sale is complete. Thank you for the kind words. Commenter 4. Not the jerk, and you finally stood up for yourself. Go on with your life without her. Is your father still alive? Ops response. Yes, but he lives on a different continent. He returned to his homeland ever since he retired some years ago. Update 5 months 2 weeks later. Hi everyone. As noted in part 1, my mother and I had a huge blowout early in the year, which resulted in me getting a lawyer and selling our co-owned home that we shared 50-50. It was a landslide in court based on the fact that she acted in bad faith toward residents, she's a tourist, of the country my family and I live in. With my lawyer, we drafted a statement and provided a ton of evidence on the situation, which made it easy for them to decide. She had zero legal representation during the back and forth, and she even admitted to the judge that she needed to throw us out forcefully and immediately because we were rude and stressed her out with our nonsense. She admitted to changing the locks on us and handing keys to the neighbors to prevent us from entering and potentially damaging the home. Like, what? Why would we do that? That's our home that we started raising our family in. The courts laid out all her bad faith acts and illegalities, because we have strict rights as tenants, and even more so because we have a child. The court didn't take lightly to her harming us and borderline making us homeless in the winter before we found housing. My forced court sale was approved immediately, and she was ordered to pay a fine, my legal fees, and hand over the keys to our place within 24 hours. She sent a letter to the court demanding I pay her for travel expenses, tickets, trains, etc., because she had no idea she was being taken to court. The court denied that, clearly. The drama didn't end there. Our home took a bit of a hit because the market is bad, but I didn't care because I just wanted to get out of this mess and get my money. In the end, my lawyer emailed both of us that it was sold and the deposit by the new tenant was paid, so the home will be theirs on October 1st. When that email came in, my mother lost her mind and sent my lawyer and me about 5 frantic emails stating that the price is unacceptable and it needs to be voided ASAP because now she wants to keep the home, huh? Court orders don't work like that, as you all know. They are final. No ifs, ands, or buts. She was even on record in 3 different documents to the court stating that she came back to sell the place but didn't realize the home had a court order hold on it because I filed for it through my lawyer months ago. Some of the emails she sent to my lawyer and me were offering me double the money if she could keep the place, because it will not be let go at that price. How could you sell it for 40% less than I paid for? Void it now, etc. She even went as far as asking for the information for the new tenant to contact him. My mother contacted our family back home and berated me again, as she has for the past 9 to 10 months. My aunts and cousins told her, he did what he had to do to protect his family, and you should honestly give him the rest of the money from the sale because you clearly don't need it. He has a family to support, and that was his home to begin with. That's where his life is. She called them all backstabbing bastards and then hung up, lol. I will receive a nice payout in a few weeks, and she will lose about 2.5x what I will get. That's a lesson to you, mother. You took it too far this time. Sorry for my English or if this is a bit hard to follow. I'm just excited this is over and I finally feel like I can breathe again. Top/relevant comments. Commenter. Yes, she got what she deserved. Now it's time for you to cut her off completely. You got your pay, she got less than you, and now she never gets to see you, your girlfriend, and your daughter. That would honestly be the cherry on top. Ops response. 9 months no contact so far. Commenter 2. The fact that she has been abusive and toxic most of Ops' life is leaving me wondering why he didn't cut her off earlier, since all of her relationships failed and, in Ops' own words, were demolished to bits. Ops response. Yeah, I've tried it a few times in the past, but she's good at manipulating for long enough for you to believe something has changed. Shame on me, honestly. Commenter 3. She had a very costly lesson, XD. But she deserved it, and I hope you now have a peaceful life with your family. She was the one backstabbing in the first place. She should have known that such actions don't earn you favor. Ops response. Yes. Onward and upward from here on out.